Picture this: a packed concert venue, thousands of fans screaming the lyrics to anthems that defined their youth. On stage, the charismatic frontman, Ian Watkins, radiates energy, his voice fueling the electric connection between him and his devoted followers. To those in the crowd, he is a musical idol, a larger-than-life figure whose art shaped a generation. But behind the glittering facade of stardom lay a secret so sinister that it would not only destroy his career, but haunt the lives of many. How does someone admired by millions become one of the most reviled criminals in modern history? Ian Watkins, the lead singer of the Welsh rock band Lostprophets, concealed a dark double life that would shock the world. This is not just a story of betrayal. It's a journey into the mind of a predator, one whose horrifying acts left a trail of devastation. Strap in. This is a true crime case you won't forget. Before we dive into the darkness, it's essential to understand the world Ian Watkins inhabited. Born on July 30th, 1977, in Merthyr Tydfil, Wales, Watkins seemed destined for greatness. He co-founded Lostprophets in 1997, a band that would go on to achieve international success with their blend of post-hardcore, alternative rock, and emo influences. Tracks like Last Train Home and Rooftops became anthems for a generation, propelling the band to fame across Europe, the US, and beyond. Watkins was the face of the band, his magnetism drawing fans in. Known for his good looks and enigmatic personality, he embodied the rock star archetype: wild, untouchable, and irresistibly charismatic. Lostprophets released 5 studio albums, sold millions of records, and earned awards and accolades. But while fans idolized Watkins for his music, he was building a monstrous life hidden in plain sight. Long before his arrest, whispers of Watkins' dark side began circulating. Fans and acquaintances noted troubling behavior, a manipulative streak, inappropriate comments, and an unsettling fixation on young women. But Watkins' fame served as a shield. Concerns were dismissed as rumors, the product of jealous fans or overzealous gossip. After all, who could believe that a rock star adored by millions was capable of something so heinous? Yet, beneath the surface, Watkins' crimes were escalating. He used his fame as a tool to manipulate vulnerable fans, grooming them to satisfy his twisted desires. His charm allowed him to lure not only victims but accomplices, people so blinded by their adoration that they became complicit in his actions. On December 17, 2012, Ian Watkins was arrested alongside 2 female accomplices after police uncovered shocking evidence of his crimes. The investigation, initiated by reports from concerned individuals, led authorities to Watkins' devices. What they found would make headlines worldwide. The evidence was staggering: encrypted files containing images and videos of abuse, as well as chat logs detailing Watkins' horrifying plans. Among the most chilling revelations was Watkins' involvement in the abuse of infants and his attempts to encourage others to facilitate such acts. The case wasn't just about possession of illicit material. It was about active participation in some of the most depraved acts imaginable. What set Watkins apart wasn't just the severity of his crimes, but his attitude toward them. Chat logs revealed a man devoid of remorse, reveling in his depravity. He referred to his crimes as fun and insane, using phrases like megalols to describe acts of abuse. His casual flippancy in the face of such horrors painted a chilling picture of a predator who not only embraced his actions, but found amusement in them. One of the most disturbing aspects of the case was Watkins' ability to manipulate others into participating. His co-defendants, 2 women whose identities remain protected, facilitated his access to victims. They were mothers who allowed their own children to be exploited, a testament to Watkins' terrifying power to warp the minds of those under his influence. When Watkins' trial began in November 2013, the public and media were transfixed. The charges were laid bare: attempted rape of an infant, conspiracy to commit sexual offenses against children, and possession of extreme pornography, including images involving animals. The graphic nature of the evidence left even seasoned investigators shaken. Initially, Watkins pleaded not guilty, a move that many saw as an attempt to manipulate the legal process. But as the trial progressed and the evidence became undeniable, he changed his plea to guilty. This admission spared his victims from having to testify, but did little to lessen the impact of his actions. The court proceedings painted a damning picture of a man who had used his fame to commit unspeakable acts. The judge, Mr. Justice Royce, described Watkins as a deeply corrupting influence and a committed pedophile. On December 18, 2013, Watkins was sentenced to 35 years in prison, with 29 years of custody and an additional 6 years under extended license. His co-defendants received sentences of 14 and 17 years, respectively. The aftermath of Ian Watkins' crimes was devastating. For his victims, the trauma was immeasurable. The children involved would carry the scars of his actions for the rest of their lives, while their families faced the heartbreaking task of rebuilding in the wake of such betrayal. Lostprophets, once a beloved band, dissolved almost immediately after Watkins' arrest. The remaining members expressed their horror and disbelief, distancing themselves from their former frontman. They later formed a new band, No Devotion, determined to reclaim their creative legacy from the shadow Watkins had cast. Fans, too, were left grappling with the betrayal. For many, the music that had once been a source of joy and connection was now tainted. The case became a stark reminder that even those we admire most can harbor dark secrets. One of the most troubling questions surrounding Watkins' case is how he managed to evade detection for so long. While there were warning signs, reports of predatory behavior, and inappropriate comments, Watkins' fame insulated him. His status as a rock star made it difficult for others to believe the worst, and his victims were often too young or too manipulated to speak out. Furthermore, Watkins' crimes were enabled by the digital age. Encrypted files and anonymous chat platforms allowed him to hide much of his activity, while his global fanbase provided access to a steady stream of potential victims. The case highlighted the challenges law enforcement faces in combating online abuse and the importance of vigilance in protecting vulnerable populations. What drives someone like Ian Watkins to commit such unspeakable acts? Experts who examined his behavior noted traits consistent with psychopathy, a lack of empathy, a manipulative nature, and an apparent inability to comprehend the gravity of his actions. Watkins seemed to view people, particularly his victims, not as individuals but as objects to be used and discarded. His crimes were not impulsive but carefully planned, often involving months of grooming and manipulation. This methodical approach underscores the depth of his depravity, revealing a predator who thrived on control and domination. Since his incarceration, Watkins has shown little sign of remorse. In 2019, he was caught with a mobile phone in prison, which he used to contact fans and attempt to maintain his manipulative hold on others. This incident raised concerns about his ongoing threat, even behind bars. For law enforcement and advocacy groups, Watkins' case serves as a stark reminder of the need for constant vigilance. It has sparked discussions about the responsibility of fans, the music industry, and society at large to hold public figures accountable and to protect vulnerable individuals from exploitation. The case of Ian Watkins is a horrifying testament to the capacity for evil to exist in places where we least expect it. Watkins, a man who was once celebrated as the charismatic frontman of the band Lostprophets, betrayed the trust and admiration of millions. His story is not just one of personal corruption, but of societal blind spots, the ways fame and charisma can mask even the most monstrous behaviors. It's a chilling reminder that the predators among us often exploit positions of power and trust to shield their true nature from view. The revelations about Watkins' crime shattered not only his victims, but an entire community of fans who had once found solace and inspiration in his music. To them, he wasn't just a musician. He was an icon, a voice that resonated with their deepest emotions. Discovering that the man behind the music harbored such unimaginable darkness felt like a betrayal on a deeply personal level. Watkins didn't just abuse the individuals directly impacted by his crimes. He abused the trust and faith of an entire generation. But Watkins' case isn't just about the monstrous acts he committed. It's also about the systems and societal tendencies that allowed him to operate unchecked for so long. The early warning signs were there. Fans and acquaintances raised concerns about inappropriate behavior, troubling interactions, and manipulative tendencies. Yet these reports were largely dismissed or ignored, brushed off as rumors or the fantasies of overzealous fans. Watkins leveraged his fame as both a weapon and a shield, using his influence to manipulate and silence those around him. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the dynamics of celebrity culture. We often place public figures on pedestals, granting them a level of trust and admiration that can be dangerously misplaced. The Ian Watkins case serves as a cautionary tale about the risks of blind idolization. Fame and talent do not inherently equate to goodness or morality, and our failure to scrutinize those in positions of power can have devastating consequences. For his victims, the impact of Watkins' crimes will last a lifetime. The physical and psychological scars inflicted by his actions are a haunting reminder of the depths of his depravity. But it's also important to recognize the broader, ripple effect harm he caused. His actions didn't just damage individuals. They tainted an entire band's legacy, leaving his former bandmates and fans grappling with the fallout. Lostprophets, once a symbol of connection and creativity, now lives in infamy, overshadowed by the crimes of its frontman. As we reflect on this case, the lessons are clear. We must remain vigilant, question the behaviors of those in positions of influence, and listen to the voices of those who speak out. The Ian Watkins case underscores the critical need for systemic safeguards and for society to confront the uncomfortable realities of abuse and exploitation. Evil often hides in plain sight, cloaked in charm and talent. It's up to us to ensure that it's exposed and stopped before it can cause irreparable harm. The story of Ian Watkins is a dark chapter in true crime history, one that will not be forgotten. It reminds us of the importance of staying vigilant, of recognizing the signs of abuse, and of never hesitating to challenge the powerful when their behavior raises alarms. While justice has been served, the scars of his actions linger, a permanent reminder of the damage one man can cause when allowed to abuse his position unchecked. Stay aware, stay skeptical, and never stop advocating for those who cannot protect themselves.